Realtors, do you want more hot leads? No, I'm not talking about cold calling, door knocking, or all those other strategies that you don't want to do. The reality is, for every 100 leads you speak to, around 1 to 2% will be hot leads. Our clients are getting over a 10% conversion, but that isn't the industry standard. If you're expecting more than a 2% conversion on a generic ad that most lead generation companies run, then you need to give your head a little shake. Now let's talk about how to get a lead down the funnel into the hot lead category. The reality is, even if a lead is hot, it requires 8 to 10 touch points to become a client. The biggest difference between top producing realtors that make over 500,000 in GCI and ones that are starting out is the type of questions they are asking these leads to build rapport and trust. The reality is that they're building their brand in front of this lead in order to become a trusted advisor. I promise you, you're not selling real estate. You're selling real estate services on how to facilitate a transaction. Yes, a lot of that comes from your marketing, but most of the heavy lifting is done on the sales call itself. Now, to keep things simple, let's say you have 100 leads. Where are they in their client journey, and how do we pull them closer to your inner circle? Let's start with hot leads. These are likely your sphere of influence or past clients. They give you very few objections because they already know you, like you, and trust you. The reality is, though, that great agents don't just rely on sphere of influence. They know how to bring in leads from a variety of different sources and turn them into clients that are hot and ready to work with them. Now let's talk about cold prospects. These leads likely need 20 to 40 touch points before they go on to the next stage. By touch points, I don't mean generic emails or text messages. I mean hyper-targeted, relevant information providing a solution to their problem. Now, note, they still may ignore you after sending such messages, and that's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It just means they may not be ready to work with you at this time. Think about when you went to a clothing store and a person came right up to you and said, "How can I help you, sir?" You'd brush them off and think, "Well, let me get back to you when I'm ready." Whereas on the flip side, if someone came up to you and said, "Well, here's where our promotions are, here's where the newest arrivals are. In case you need any help, please let me know." This is more of a value-driven approach and doesn't come off too salesy. We need to provide value before asking for a sale. Most people get a lead online and ask right away, "Do you want to buy a property? Do you want to sell?" That's like asking a girl to marry you on the first date. Most cold leads require 6 to 8 months before they go on to the next stage. I remember speaking to a lead for 2 years before they decided to buy and sell a property with me. That was 70,000 in GCI, some people's yearly salary for staying in touch with just one client. Now let's talk about how to stay in touch. I break this down into 4 segments. The first is pick of the week. So sending them a desirable property in their area, or a benchmark sale in their neighborhood, telling them how much the homes in that desired area are selling for, or things to do in their area so they look at you as an authority figure, or perhaps talking about the news like the interest rates or political changes that affect their buying or selling power. Now let's talk about the first point, pick of the week. This could be any desirable home in your neighborhood or the neighborhood your prospect is looking for. You can talk about its selling features, its likes, dislikes, to give the audience a neutral opinion. The second is sending them a benchmark email of properties that sold in their area. This will give them an idea of whether the average prices are going up or down and if they should be taking action quickly. This particularly appeals to sellers because they get an idea of what the homes in their neighborhood are selling for. The third is talk about the news, the developments, the political changes, the interest rate changes. This will all affect the real estate landscape and people love hearing about this. The fourth is things to do. Talk about the best parks, restaurants, schools, amenities. I don't know about you, but I never know what to do around my area. So if you you sent me information like this, I'd look at you as an industry expert. You can also layer this content with videos. Throw in a YouTube video in there. I'm a huge believer of videos because it allows you to connect with your audience on a different level. One strategy that we use heavily is repurposing content, which means shooting long form content, chopping it up into short form, and repurposing it on other social media channels. This allows you to target a wider audience, bringing in more leads, which will ultimately turn into hot leads. If you're worried about editing, I pay $5 an hour to get my videos edited, just like the one you're watching. If you'd like recommendations on who to hire as VAs, comment below and I can connect you with one. Our objective is to find leads that are in the information gathering phase. We can do this by sending out emails and tracking who opens it and calling them to offer more solution relevant to what they're consuming and asking if there's anything else you can help them with. This will put you as a value-driven realtor in front of their eyes and lower their guard when it comes to doing business with you. This is also an opportunity to ask for referrals if they're not ready at that moment. Now let's talk about the next phase, which is the somewhat familiar prospects. These are prospects that are looking several months out. They probably receive your newsletters and they know of you but haven't quite spoken to you yet. These leads are typically surfing multiple websites for properties and speaking to a lot of realtors, and they haven't quite chosen you as their top realtor. This is a prime stage to catch the lead in, because if you provide enough solutions without pitching a sale to them, you automatically become one of their preferred realtors to work with. The reality is you don't want to spend too much time here. You want to probably have a monthly touch point with these leads and spend most of your time with your hot leads. The next category is warm inbound leads. These are people that found you through social media, your emails, your messages, or just a sign call. These people are likely very motivated and have very few objections because they took the time to look you up. I would say for myself, this is where I spend most of my time, with people that have either responded to my emails, consumed my content, or reached out to me from social media. This is because I find that these clients require very little convincing because they're already pre-sold from consuming my content and learning about me. Generally, these people just require 5 to 10 touch points before they start working with you because they are already convinced that you are the authority figure in their space. So this is how we structure our leads with our clients and how we recommend they speak to each lead. The entire time, we are focused on bringing these cold or warm leads to the hot stage with multiple touch points. We have cold leads that receive our newsletters, but they are unresponsive, so we don't quite know what their timelines are. This is a good place to reach out to them when they're opening our emails. There's warm leads that are likely looking within the 90 days mark, so a monthly touch point is key with such leads. And then there's hot leads that are looking less than 90 days out, and a weekly touch point, multiple touch points in a week are key to bring them to the client stage. The next category, which is the final one, is hot leads. These are people that know you, like you, and trust you, and are either in or out of the buying window. These leads should be communicated with every few days, depending on their buying window. We still use the same touch points with newsletters, text messages, and emails, but the frequency does depend on how in or out of the buying window they are. The reality is, leads don't care about your reviews or who you are. They care about finding the properties they like, where they're located, what properties fall in their price range, and what the resale value of these properties would be. For sellers, they care about this information too, but they also care about what their home is worth, tips for selling their home for top dollar, and how the market is affecting the timing of when they should sell. So focus on these topics when you're reaching out to them. I remember shooting a YouTube video on my predictions of the market later that year, and I had a client that I was trying to reach out to for several months who ended up calling me because he liked that video. That client ended up buying a $4.5 million investment with me. We share such value-driven content with our community every week. If you're interested in improving your lead generation game with helpful resources that I use every day in my business, click on the link below to join our Facebook community. If you're looking for warm or hot inbound leads that are ready to buy or sell in the near future, book a call with me below and I'll walk you through our strategy. Hope you found this video helpful. Subscribe and like for more videos like this. Until next time, cheers.